術式順天青
Hello everyone, my name is Troy and welcome to Maximum Output Training. Welcome to the first week of the new training cycle, or in this case, Pendulum Wave. And we are doing Dynamic Effort Upper today and got a little treat for you guys. We're using a specialty bar for the first time in a long time for my Dynamic Effort Waves. We're using the Arch Bar today from Bells of Steel, or you can call it like a Buffalo Swiss bar, since it's like a hybrid of both. And we are going to use the middle grip today because that is the most comfortable, just because that's the only variation of this bar that I've maxed out with that I can use a percentage-based protocol with. So first week, we are doing 170 pounds for sets of 3. There is no rhyme or reason as to why I wanted to use this bar. Yes, it does increase the range of motion just a little bit, especially with the middle grip. I just felt like a different change of pace versus just using a straight bar. I almost said straight weight, but straight bar. So let's get into it. First set, here we go, 170 pounds, sets of 3. All right, that felt pretty good. Always feels awkward with the Swiss bar or the Arch bar. I've used both just because instead of your hands being directly horizontal, they're kind of like in a semi-neutral position. And then with the Arch, it just feels a little awkward. You'll have to acclimate to it if you ever have this type of bar, even just a regular Swiss bar. Whether the grip is true neutral or angled, it will be something you have to get used to. But yeah, just want a different change of pace. Change the stimulus, if you will, but it's just more for my own mental well-being, just to do something else versus just doing straight weight. So I'm going to do a couple sets of these. Oh, also, if I cough throughout the video, I'm still getting over that weird sickness, cold thing that I had last week. Headache's gone, body aches are gone. The sniffles are coming and going. Now it's just a sore throat and a cough. So usually when I do get sick, it kicks my ass for like 1 to 2 weeks. And then it kind of like goes away for another 2 years. And then I get kicked again in the face with sickness. So it's nice that I get sick every other year versus like some people, they get sick once every other month or something like that. Sometimes once a month. So yeah, I'm just rambling now. I'm gonna rest for a little bit and I'll catch you guys for another set. So awkward update regarding my old phone. That was my main camera. It is now toast, like completely. I tried to change the battery myself just to save some money. So I changed it into a brand new battery, replaced it, got it up and running, and then it boot looped again. So I think it's a motherboard problem. So I'm not gonna bother wasting any more money on that. So now we are gonna be using my main phone as my main camera for the time being. But since it is YouTube and it's just more video based, I'll probably grab like an old camera and kind of just set up from there versus just using my main camera, and just use my main camera for like Instagram stuff and then the old camera for YouTube stuff. And then as I accumulate more money from doing this fitness business thing, I'll upgrade the camera. But for now, I just think just starting and then restarting and getting more consistent with posting content is the main thing for me versus like the quality of to the highest degree of getting content out. But I still want the value I bring to my content to be there. Just the quality of the video will not be what I want it to be. So I think actual video itself, like what for your viewing pleasure, is just going to be take a little step back. But I want the consistency to be back there. So I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to get to the next set. I'll talk to you afterwards. Okay, I felt pretty good. Started to acclimate to the weight, getting used to the bar again. So I'll rest for a little bit and I'll talk to you in a little bit. So I actually did try to rectify the situation with my camera situation. By trying to fix it myself, and that was a no-go. And then I tried to buy a new camera off Amazon for like a cheap camera that claimed to be 4K, but I thought it would be at least 1080p, 30 FPS. It was nowhere near that, so I have returned it because it said, oh, you could get 4K. Highly already doubted it was 4K right off the bat, so I thought at least 1080p. Went up to 4K. It was the choppiest thing I've ever seen in a very long time. Dropped it to 1080p, and the filming of itself was smooth-ish, but the quality, oh my goodness, it was like 480p. Not even. It was like 240p. It was like so pixelated and disgusting. So that was like fake advertising in itself. Just 1080p, 30 FPS. That's all I need for filming, but they couldn't even deliver on that. So I returned it, and now that's why I'm using my main phone as my main camera for the time being, and then probably will drop back to an old camera. I think it records in like 720p, 30 FPS. But with modern technology, I could probably convert that to 1080p just a little bit, so it might be a little bit blurry or pixelated going forward for the time being until I get a good camera. The reason I don't want to use my phone as my main camera is batteries on cell phones nowadays are just so they just use so much power. So you have to charge them like either every day or every other day. And I just don't want to do that, especially with this phone, which is like my main, obviously, main contact with the world, even though I don't really talk to people. LOL. So I'd rather not destroy my camera or my phone battery and then have to replace it already. So I'd rather just use an old camera for filming in that sense. Hopefully I'm making sense, but I'm going to stop talking and hit to my next set. Okay, that felt pretty good. Actually, I'm actually starting to enjoy this bar a lot more. I actually used to have this bar once upon a time ago where I bought it brand new from Bells of Steel, and it was like $200. And then I sold it maybe 1 or 2 years ago and I got something out of it. I think I almost got $200 back. It was like towards the tail end of C19, COVID. And then I found this bar on the used marketplace for $60. I just had to drive half an hour to get it. And then I was gonna flip it, but then decided not to, because for $60 for this type of specialty bar, I decided to keep it. So now I think the next specialty bar on my list will either be a buffalo bar, so it's just a straight bar, but there's an arch in it, or camber, slight camber, or an SSB, safety squat bar. I'm playing with the idea because buffalo bar is more versatile versus an SSB, but an SSB will give me a break on my shoulders and elbows from squatting, so kind of give and take there. But the buffalo bar will do that as well if you can set your hands lower. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Next set. All right, that felt pretty good. Still feeling pretty good. Feels nice on the shoulders, not gonna lie. Okay, I'm gonna rest a little bit. See you for the next set. So there may be a few reasons as to why somebody will use this type of bar. We'll go specifically with the arch bar from Bells of Steel. Basically, if you have any shoulder nagging issues, this would be a good bar to have. If you have just to take a break on your elbows, just because not the range of motion, just your hand placement versus your straight bar where your elbows are kind of more flared out. With the angled semi-neutral grip, it kind of forces or naturally puts your elbows into a nice neutral-ish position where you come straight up and down, so it doesn't put as much pressure on your elbows and shoulders. Also, the range of motion is slightly more than straight weight, versus straight weight is just to your chest, versus the Nemesis bar or the arch bar. You can get a little bit of range of motion, so you can hit your pecs a little bit harder. So it bases on your personal preference. If you want range of motion for more hypertrophic or strength reasons, or for injury rehab if you injured your shoulder, or just to give it a little break. You have one versus the other, so it's a good bar to have. Once I pick up a Buffalo bar, I'll go into more depth with that, or just a regular Swiss bar in general. I think for the regular Swiss bar where it's just straight weight, but the handles are different, I think I'll get an angled one because I had the neutral one before, and that one was okay, but I think the angled one might be a little bit different just because it might hit the pecs a little bit more versus a regular neutral grip where it's just basically mostly all triceps and puts nothing really on the pec. So probably that one would be good if you have any pec injuries. But yeah, this is just a different stimulus for me, different change of pace. So I'm not going to read too much depth into range of motion and taking stress off, but mostly just give me a change of pace. Yes, it does help with taking some nagging pain on my shoulder. It's not clicking as much throughout the bench press. So that's a plus for me, but I'm having fun with it. We'll see what the next 2 or 3 weeks bring. Next set. The one drawback I do not like about Swiss bars, or this bar in general, is that they have like little to no knurling. So you're pretty much grabbing on smooth metal. So make sure you chalk up. Yeah, kind of annoyance with this bar and my previous regular Swiss bar. Just like there's like hardly any knurling. So it always felt like you're gonna slip out of the bar. But I'm gonna rest for a little bit, and I'll either see you for the next exercise or next set. Nice little treat. Not really, it's just something different, of course. So arch bar done and dusted at 170 pounds. Next up, overhead press with the arch bar, just because my ceilings are nice and low, and this allows me to use, when I do or able to use it, 45-pound plate on each side and not smash my ceiling. So that's nice with a nice little arch. Also, I forgot to mention, if it looks weird, the loading weight, it's because the bar is 25 pounds and I put 2 10-pound bumpers to make it 45, and then I can just warm up how I normally warm up. So on my 170 pounds there, I put 2 10-pound bumpers, and then I put the 45-pound plate, and then I put 10.5 and 2.5 on. So yeah, if you're wondering that it just looks weird loaded, it's basically out of convenience so I can warm up to how I normally warm up with a regular 45-pound barbell or 20 kilos, depending on where you're located. So yeah, this 25-pound bar always throws me off, and luckily I have extra 10-pound bumpers to make it the 45 pounds. So overhead press, just a different change of pace for me. I like the overhead press. It's more like I don't want to say like a manly lift. I don't know. It's just something I like to do, and I hate training like front delts in general. But the overhead press is just something of an animal that you have to tame. So, and my 1 rep max as of right now is 135 pounds, which is, in my opinion, terrible. I want to hit 2 plates. That would be pretty cool. But we're going to hit 80 pounds for sets of 5 and see how it feels. I haven't done overhead press in a very long time, aside from the times I do go for max effort. That's usually like on a deload week. But yeah, overhead press, change of pace, like mostly for like just myself versus just trying to get stronger. Who knows, maybe just doing overhead press will translate over to a stronger bench. I've heard it works for some people. So we'll see. Oh, that's very awkward versus a barbell. Because the barbell, you have a little bit more control with the overhead press. With this bar, I use the most inner grip because that replicates what I would use on a regular barbell. But with the barbell, you're pretty much just going straight up and down. Versus this bar, I don't know, for some reason I kind of grip a little bit too close to the edge here where I try to grip in the middle, but for some reason, obviously because the weight shifts a little bit differently, you end up like, I don't know, your hands slip a little bit in a way. And then you kind of, I don't know, it just feels different versus a straight barbell where everything is pretty much even. Where this one, your wrists are kind of cocked back a little bit. And then you kind of, it just feels a little bit different. I'm not going to blame the bar on how weak my overhead press is. It just feels different, that's all. So I'm going to finish up the rest of the sets, and I'll see you for the next exercise. All right, overhead press done. That actually felt pretty good on the shoulders. I will have to obviously acclimate back to the exercise since I don't do them very often, but it was nice to go from weight here straight overhead and pretty much just triceps and shoulders. So that was nice to do again. Feels really good. Yeah, sets of 5 at 80 pounds was kind of a... 80 pounds doesn't feel like nothing, especially if you train for strength, but kicks my ass because it's overhead press. So I need to practice at them. Now we on to some incline dumbbell press. I almost said incline barbell press. Excuse me. Sets of 10, again at 55 pounds. Just trying to slowly build up a volume within these and try not to overdo it where I am fatigued from my max effort day. So I'm really trying to drop volume and kind of not go to 1 to 0 reps in reserve. I'm trying to hang around the 3 reps in reserve so I don't fatigue myself, like I said, and go above and beyond. Because I'm really, the goal is for me strength. So building muscle is great and all, but if I go balls to the wall, 1 to 0 reps in reserve, it's just gonna fry me for my max effort days especially, and I just won't recover properly. So still trying to play around. I probably should have upped the weight this time around and then kind of go from there and just kind of drop the reps to probably like 6 or 8 reps and then slowly build up again. So I'll probably, like I said in the previous videos, I'm not trying to go super duper high with the volume on dynamic effort days. With max effort days for my dumbbell presses, I'm trying to like hit between 8 and 10. If I hit 8, I'll probably up the reps and then, up the weight and then drop the reps and then repeat the cycle. So it can translate strength and some muscle hypertrophy into that day versus the volume. You drop your kind of the weights and then you kind of focus a little bit on the volume reps side of things. So that's why I'm trying to hit more between 10 and 12 on this day versus trying to hit the 15 and then up the weight. Because I feel like by the time I hit the 15, I get so exhausted. And then I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I'm sticking with 10, 55 pounds. Let's do this thing. Wait. Ooh. Okay, that felt pretty good. My pec definitely getting some work in there, especially the part where I strained it. So just got to be weary of that certain area. But I think just like feeling the stretch, hanging in there for maybe a slight second or a second or two, really strengthen that area of the range of motion will translate to getting stronger, and then it won't be a limiting factor within my dumbbell presses. So it's good that I'm starting to slow things down, do a slight pause, feel the stretch, and then go. Because as your weak points become strong points, obviously you do get stronger. So catch you for the next exercise. I'm gonna finish the rest of these. Oh man, getting tired. But yeah, I'll see you for the next exercise. All right, finished all my back accessories. Same thing, T-bar rows and dumbbell chest supported rows. They have weird angles, so I never record them. So now we on to finishing off with arms and shoulders. Finishing off this video with this last exercise here. For this video, I can speak English. Dumbbell skull crushers, 30 pounds, sets of 12. I upped the weight from, I think last week. I think it was at 25, either the last training cycle or from the deload. I upped it to 30 pounds, see how it felt. And felt pretty good. My elbows are not as cranky and pissed off at me. So 30 pounds, moving smooth, slowly up the reps as I go throughout the next few weeks, see how that feels. And obviously, as I get to a certain point, I got up the weight. But for now, focus on form, technique, and push my elbows forward so I can get a nice stretch in the triceps, and hopefully that helps carry over to a bigger bench press. So let's do this. 10, 11. Whew. Those felt pretty good. I should have chalked up. I think I could have emphasized more grip on that and not pissing off my elbow, but it feels still pretty good. It doesn't hurt. It's just kind of, I don't know, it has that weird, I don't know. I'll figure it out later. But that's it for now. I'll get to the next exercise and finish off my workout. So I'm going to call it here. Comment, rate, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you want some online coaching, there's some stuff in the description. And I'll catch you guys in the next training vlog next week. I don't know what it's going to be, max effort or dynamic effort. But until then, I'll see you then. Peace.